I bloody love this bit.
Welcome to a look behind the scenes of some pre-release DirtyBomb goodness. That's right, you've probably heard that a number of maps are being updated in the next big patch. Well, this is our chance to get an exclusive look at changes to the one and only Trainyard. It's a map that DB players will be familiar with. I know root and branch changes have been made, although some trees have been removed, but with some minor and not so minor tweaks, the adjustments to the new Trainyard do indeed make it take on a different sort of tempo and experience. Initially, you're struck at the art differences as you load in. That searing yellow sunlight has been toned back to something more pastoral and natural. It's also something you notice when you're inside buildings too. There's more of a demarcation between the outside and inside spaces. Somehow the interior lights convey a bit more colour now. From the attacker side, you notice that familiar window jump into the MG room has been made considerably easier. It seems to be a running theme through many of the jump changes. In fact, we even saw it in the last Dome update. Some may decry the lowering of the skull floor for this jump, but if I'm honest, I used to find this one difficult to do repeatedly, especially with a bit of latency included. So making it something that a team can use reliably in a strategy is a plus point for me. Making that jump easier does mean that people tend to be in the MG room much faster than they would taking the normal traditional routes. The defenders can't set up shop in there quite as fast now. They're much easier pushed onto their back foot. Another way we see the map tweaked to help the attackers on the right side of the first spawn. That window that the defenders could fire from or even just get intel about enemy positions is now sealed up. Similarly, that jump up to the old window level has been illustrated better and made slightly more obvious. The lower area in front of the MG has also had some extra boarding added. It's not quite as easy to peek from the track level and gain info about what's going down on the dry riverbed. I'd say the most impactful change to the first section of Trainyard is the difference to the actual machine gun view and arc of fire. All the obstructions have been removed from the view looking down to the normal fast route the defenders take up to the objective. Having control of the MG building is even more important now, and combine that with a quicker way to get people in via the improved window jump, and I think we'll be seeing far fewer full holds on Trainyard. As we move into the second part of the map, we see that the art team has added a number of extra touches. It's the kind of visual storytelling that makes the game space feel like a real location in a real world. And I now feel duty-bound to draw your attention to the glistening and opulent bathroom facilities that now exist in what was a rather empty side building. If you're scared about being hit by an airstrike, I can think of no better prepared environment to cower. The actual train carriage has had a change too. Those hollow ends beyond the two doorways have now been filled in. So, spoiler alert, the new best place to plant the bomb is right in the doorway corner. It requires the defenders to sit unprotected while they defuse, and also maximises your sightlines to keep an eye on things. And speaking of that, the windows of the mezzanine level side building have also had their bars rearranged for better viewing and shootability. The final section of Trainyard has also had a multitude of refinements and tweaks. Perhaps one of the largest is something that you can't actually see, and that's the new attacker's spawn point. You no longer start on the far right up on the top of the hill, you spawn down near where the objective is picked up. This may initially seem like a minor change, but it must save 3 or 4 seconds to every time you spawn, and in a final objective where you're often pushed for time, it's a nice saving over the old system. And also, added to that objective pickup area, is now an additional barge between it and the locks to provide a bit more cover. The art team has been all over the open-topped red brick building and given it some real purpose. It is now a bright yellow decontamination zone, clean enough to eat your dinner from. Gameplay-wise, it's worth noting that the old shelving thing that used to be your only cover as you walked into the room along the planks is now a solid, proper object, and that you don't need to jump that final edge to enter and expose yourself to the enemy. The collision improvements mean that you can just walk straight in. The triangular constructions along the bridge take a new look as well, and now completely seal up to the MG building, again stopping the defenders from having multiple high angles over the attackers. The normal sniper spot is still open though, and indeed there's a bit more to look over now, as the addition of a ramped area to the right of the main door gives attackers additional routes and alternative options. If I'm honest, I didn't think this would make a real difference to the flow of the final point, but gameplay actually proved different. As a defender, having that additional angle to worry about, the constant threat of having someone appear at that higher than normal angle seemed to mix things up. And that leads us to another final big change to the final objective on Trainyard, and that's moving both delivery points to the attacker side. That's right, you can no longer rely on controlling the final objective from the security of the nearby building. You simply don't have line of sight anymore. Defenders need to be up and in the open in order to stop that delivery. It's hard to state quite how big an impact this can have on the final stage, often one that was in the past difficult for attackers to complete. So what do I think of the changes? Well, I think they're broadly positive. My only reservation might be whether the final stage changes will tip the balance towards the attacking side a bit too much. I'd imagine this would be perfectly weighted for a stopwatch mode though. You're also probably wondering about performance. Well, I don't have any hard numbers for you, but I will say that all this was recorded in the top super preset on an Nvidia 970 graphics card, and I wasn't exactly wanting for performance. On my system, it felt like a definite improvement over the live version of Trainyard. I'll include my full PC specs in the description below if you want to compare. I'd love to hear your feedback though. What do you think of these changes? How do you imagine they might play out as the patch hits? And just how excited can we get over a new bathroom at the second objective? Thanks so much for watching this pre-release look at the new changes to Trainyard, and a big thanks to Splash Damage, Nexon, and the loyal band of players in the PTS for allowing me to make this video. Cheers to everyone. If you did enjoy watching this, why not leave a thumb up or even tap that subscribe button? It's free and it really helps me out. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at LCTRGames. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.